Hey guys, welcome back to another cookie run video. Today we are doing some beginner's tips, but you know what I'm going to say. Before you finish watching this video, please hit that subscribe button, click the little bell, you get notifications every time I post a video. Also, we have Discord, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, links down in the description. You can follow me, figure out what's going on with the channel, what's going on with me, and stay up to date on all that stuff. So, let's get into the video. I'm having cookies at 9 a.m. because Cookie Run Kingdom always makes me want cookies constantly, and I'm an adult, so I can do that. Today I have a beginner's tips video for you guys. These are some things that I've learned over the last couple days. I have a notebook here because I'm not smart enough to remember them all off the top of my head. It has crumbs on it from my cookies, so let me wipe that off. So we're going to start with some tips for your kingdom here first. So the first tip is to always have resources going. And this is sort of self-explanatory, but I wanted to mention it just to... can you go into the building? Thank you. Always have stuff going, right? So resources are a huge thing in this game. You progress through the game and you need more resources as you do. So you should always have something going. For me, I have some jelly beans here. And then I've got pretty much every building. You may not have all these buildings right away. That's okay. Just make sure whatever buildings you do have, you're always running something. Another tip that I wanted to mention is that smaller orders are more valuable than bigger orders if you're able to pay attention. So what I mean by that is you can see that we have 3 jelly beans here, right? And then 9 jelly beans for the bigger order. Now you would think that since the bigger order, it gives you 3 times as much, it should only take 3 times the amount of time. It doesn't, right? It takes 12 times the amount. So important to keep that in mind. If you're able to pay attention to the game and you're really hurting for resources, what you should do is you should do the smaller orders and then click them every time that you basically are finished with all the orders. So I made this mistake with sugar, and I was doing large orders, and I actually got bottlenecked by the sugars, so I wasn't able to progress because I didn't have enough sugar. So I sort of discovered this yesterday just messing around. So definitely keep that in mind. If you're able to pay attention to the game, definitely do smaller orders. If you're going to be away from the game for a couple hours or you're going to sleep or whatever, do bigger orders because ultimately it's going to be worth it more. It's going to take more time than if the same amount for smaller orders, but you're not going to be paying attention, so you're not going to be able to reset it. So you do end up getting more from the bigger orders if you're away for a certain amount of time. So keep that in mind. Another huge thing, speaking of orders, is storage. So this is tip number 3. Pay attention to your storage because you will run out. I've run out several times, and you have to have certain materials to expand it. So don't be like me and discover that you need to expand your storage and then have to rush over the next couple of hours to make the materials to expand it. So for me, in order to get to 91 storage, I'm going to need 41 shovels. It's a pretty steep price, but it's worth it ultimately because this is like one of the main things in the game, right? You always want to have enough storage and you always want to have resources going. So very, very important stuff there. Okay, the next tip is keeping up with your buildings. So to get the most out of the time that you're playing with this game, you really want to make sure that you don't have any more buildings to build or to upgrade. So be checking your construction shop as often as you can, especially after every castle level up. And you want to make sure that you are leveling these up basically as soon as you can. Now, if you get to a point where you can't make a few of the materials, you're pretty much where you need to be. And a lot of the times it will tell you that you can't upgrade something until... so I can actually upgrade this if I wanted to, but you can't actually start upgrading it until you have gotten a certain product from another building. Or, oh, I got a little quest there. Thank you, Herb. We're going to skip this. Excuse me, Herb. It's my video. Where was I? So make sure you're keeping up with your building. Make sure you're evolving them and leveling them up as much as you possibly can because that's going to help you save time. Herb, can you not? Please. Herb, please. Did I click him or is he just an asshole? I don't know. Okay. So we talked about building upgrades. So let's talk about the fountain and castle. So This is like the main progression part of the game. When you upgrade your castle, it unlocks more buildings, it unlocks more upgrades, it unlocks a lot. Sometimes it unlocks more stages of the game, like the train or the balloon, which I'll go over in just a second. And it also allows you to upgrade your fountain, and your fountain is huge. The fountain is sort of like the gathering resources passively thing. It gives you a bunch of different stuff. It gives you some XP stuff. It gives you some resources. It gives you stamina. It gives you gold. It gives you skill power-ups for your cookies. So this is huge. Always make sure your fountain abundance is fully upgraded. This is one of the first things I do when I upgrade my castle, is I'll upgrade my fountain of abundance. It also increases the production time as you level it up. So when you start, it's not very long, but now for me, since I'm level 5, it has 8 hours. This is good because if you, like I said, if you step away for more than, a couple of hours, then you are able to keep getting those resources and you don't waste any time on the Fountain of Abundance. So huge resource there for different things. Make sure you're keeping up with that. So, and then same thing goes for the castle. Once you complete these missions here, upgrade your castle, because then you get more stuff. Castle upgrade unlocks more buildings. It unlocks more land for you to clear out, so you have more room for all your buildings. As you can see, I'm sort of struggling with room right now because I don't want to spend my little these Aurora bricks and these compass, because they are used for a lot of stuff and they're actually pretty rare. And that actually brings me to my next point, which is the Tree of Wishes. So the Tree of Wishes is super important for a couple of reasons. One, this is going to be your main source of gold and coins. So as you can see, some of them are pretty crazy. It gives me 14,000 for fulfilling this one, and this is where a lot of your resources are going to go. So this is why it's important to stock up on those resources, so as soon as you run out of gold, or as soon as you need that gold, you just start fulfilling orders, and then you get a bunch of money. And these are unlimited, right? So as long as you have the resources as long as you have the resources for them, you can fulfill the wishes, and then you'll get the gold and the XP for that. So speaking of Tree of Wishes, I also want to go over this. So every day it resets at 10 a.m. my time. I'm not sure what time it is yours, but you can get 3 rewards for fulfilling a certain amount of wishes, and I can't remember off the top of my head how many, but it's not incredibly hard, especially if you go for the small ones like this, where 2 sugar is like nothing, right? So you fulfill enough rewards, and then it gives you important things like those rare building materials that you saw that I needed. So like here, where you need you need one of these Aurora pillars, and you need Aurora bricks. This is going to be a source of where you get those. So super important to be doing that, to complete those rewards every single day, so you don't, like me, get stuck on the building pieces. Let's see. So now we are moving on from Tree of Wishes to the quests in the kingdom. So on the side here, there are these little quests, and they're related to a story kind of thing. If you like stories, pay attention to it. I think it's pretty funny, pretty good storyline. But as you unlock more people, you get more stories. I know Custard has one. I know Brave has one, and then you saw that Herb has one. So make sure you're paying attention to these and doing these. Also, there's no indicator that there are more, but if you scroll down, you can actually see that I have a few more here. So make sure you're paying attention to these and you're doing these as they come, because I've had to go back and do some of the progress because I didn't realize I had these quests. And they give some good rewards, especially early. You get a bunch of XP from it, which is great because you really need those levels for your kingdom to level up your cookies so that they are stronger, right? So pay attention to those, do those as you can. Typically, you will be able to complete them as you just do the game, but pay attention and make sure you don't skip something and have to go back and do a bunch more, right? So that's what I had to do. Missions and events. So this is another huge thing. So currently, since this game is fairly new, There are tons and tons of missions, and hopefully they continue doing this even after this game is not that new anymore. But make sure you're paying attention to these and collecting these rewards, because these are some pretty good rewards. So there's one for stamina jellies. So when you spend 100 stamina jellies, you get a summon. You get some daily rewards here. This is custard cookies decree. So as you do these, a lot of them having to do with custard, where you just like send him to places and do things. You get some rewards, and then the ultimate prize here is like 2,000 total gems, which is awesome. There's a friend thing, so all you have to do is add 10 friends. You get a compass here, and you get some gems, and then the summon. And then same for just check these out and make sure you're doing these, especially this one. As you progress through the game, you end up getting more gems anyways, and then the build your castle. So as you upgrade your castle, you get some stuff, and then at level 12 you get 2,000, which is pretty sweet. So that's it for the mission. Now, this is something that you won't unlock until, I want to say level 3 or 4, but it's the train station. And as you can see, I just sent my train off. So basically what happens is your train comes in, and then it asks you for some certain materials, and when you fulfill those materials on the train, it sends it off, and then after a certain amount of time, it comes back with different things. You can get gems, you can get gold, you can get XP, you can get rare building materials, which is the main thing I'm looking for. Because there is no way to like quickly farm those building materials. It's really important to be sending your train off as often as you can, and this goes back to the whole make sure you're always keeping something going production wise in your buildings, because it asks for things like tools, it asks for raw resources like wood. I think today I had to send off 24 hatchets, the first thing you get from your smithy, which is like, I mean, that's like early game stuff. I actually had to go back and craft a few, but it didn't take very long, right? Because they were very small. So it's also worth to keep some of the old materials, because this and the Tree of Wishes will ask for older materials, even if you're not using them to upgrade your kingdom anymore. Okay, so now we're moving on to some world exploration tips. So I'm going to go back here just to show you. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you're 3-starring all of the stages. You may not be able to do it the first time you get to the stage. That's okay. Just make sure you don't forget about it. Come back and do it, because when you do and you get all the stars for a stage, you end up getting several coins. So it's like 300, 500, 700. So pretty valuable for that. You end up getting what is that? That is 1,500 gems when you full star stages, which is great. You can use those for summons, use more for whatever you want. Definitely go back and do that. Another tip that you probably know about, but I wanted to mention it just in case, is do the little mini games in there. So there's chests, there's like things like this. So for this level, you had to like build these little torches, which required some resources. But when you do that, you get some of the rare building materials. And like I said, one of those like hot commodities in this game where you can't just constantly farm them. You have to sort of get them through rarer means. So definitely be doing those mini games, because you will get those valuable resources that way. So that's pretty much it for the mission portion. Make sure you're starring all of the levels. Make sure you're doing those mini games for the treasure. So those will really help you guys out and progress, so you don't get stuck. The last thing I have for you guys is some tips for summoning, or for drawing the gacha, right? So the first is, it's a good idea to spend a bit of your first initial gems to get a team that you really want. Look for some of the really good units. Like, I just actually finished building my ideal team, so I'm using Milk Cookie, who's like the best tank in the game. I'm using Dark Choco Cookie, who's like one of the best chargers in the game. I'm using Espresso Cookie. I'm using chili pepper. My fiance pointed out that I said chili powder yesterday, and now I'm saying it constantly. And herb, which I just pulled yesterday. So you really want to be looking for a really good team, because the sooner you get this team, the sooner you can start putting your resources into them, and then you don't have to go back and waste some of the resources that you are going to need later, especially XP. XP is massive, so when you get farther in the game, XP is going to become really difficult to keep up with. Like, the max level for me for cookies is like I think it's like 32, and I don't really have enough XP to get them past like 27. So definitely try to get as many of the cookies you want to build early so that you don't have to go back and put resources into another cookie and waste the resources for the original cookie. So keep that in mind. Do some summons until you get what you want, and then you won't have to worry about it, right? So any summons you do after you get the team you want, it's just going to be soul stones so you can power up that team. Another tip I want to admit, speaking of the gotcha section, is the treasures. So treasures are super important. It's easy to overlook treasures because, in my opinion, they're not as flashy as the cookies. Right, you get a new cookie and you get to see like its cool new ability and stuff like that. But treasures are going to be a huge help to your team. If you look at some of these, we'll have to go to our treasures. If you look at some of these treasures, some of these are amazing, right? So this one is plus 30% attack. That's huge. That's for your whole team, right? So treasures are super important. Definitely aim for some of these really good treasures. I'm using the attack one. I'm using this one, 10% crit rate, which is awesome. And then this one, which is a cooldown time so that they can use their abilities more often. So definitely pull some treasures until you get ones that you're happy with. I promise it's worth it. There's one that revives the first death with 20% HP, which is, again, pretty huge. So check these out and then pull the treasures until you get the one you want. The more duplicates you pull, the stronger the treasures become, just like the cookies. So don't overlook treasures. Definitely get 3 that you really like, because once you get to a certain point in the game, you unlock the 3 slots and you can have 3 at a time. So take a look at those and do that. And the last tip before we wrap up this video is the mileage shop. So as you summon, you get mileage points. The more you summon, the more mileage points you get. Now, these can be used to buy soul stones of cookies that you want. So you can see I have 528 and they're 100 mileage points each. So you can just buy as many as you have. I made the mistake of buying a couple of like tickets and stuff with mine at first. Don't do that, in my opinion. Get soul stones. Soul stones are way more valuable because it's going to take a while to, especially if you're looking for a very specific cookie and you're just not getting lucky with that cookie. Just use the soul stone, and then after you get 20 of them, you can summon them or power up whatever weak ones you have, whatever. So pay attention to the mileage shop, keep up with it, and make sure you're spending it on the soul stones of the cookies that you want. So we're gonna finish off with we're gonna probably do a 3 draw and then maybe a 10 draw as well, since I have a few crystals. So let's see what we get here. I will skip the rest of them here after this first initial animation. Just finish off the video with a little bit of, I know a lot of people like the summons, so we're just going to finish it up. I got some onion cookie and some bubblegum cookie, or gumball cookie, I don't know, one of the two. And then we're going to do a 10 draw, so I already have quite a few espresso pieces, so I'm just going to do a regular in case I get Tiger Lily cookie. Is that it? Tiger Lily cookie would be cool to have. Oh, we got an epic. That's good. Let's see what we get. Tiger Lily cookie is pretty good for PvP, in my opinion. So let's see what we get. Cherry cookie. Okay, great. Another rare, it looks like. Another cherry cookie. Okay. A Princess Soulstone. Ginger Brave. Amazing. I don't use Ginger Brave anymore. Not very good unit, to be honest. Dark Choco Cookie Soulstone, which is good, but I don't even think that's the epic, is it? Here we go. Let's see what we get. Pieces for our team would be good. Perfect. Herb. So I can now star him, which is great. Make him stronger. And then some gumball. So pretty good pull. I'm happy with that. And then as you can see, I got 60 mileage points there, so I'll be saving those 4 pieces for something else. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to you. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. If you got tips, please leave them. I'm still learning. This game is still pretty new, so there's still a lot to explore. And then let me know what team you guys are using, because I know that there are S tier units, but I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for team compositions and different teams that people that can really work synergize together. So let me know what you guys think, and hit me up with those teams. Until the next one, hope you guys have a fantastic day.